up? This is Luke James. You checking out YouKnowIGotSoul.com.
Hey, this is Tom from YouKnowIGotSoul.com. How's everything?
Oh, everything's swell. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for taking the time for this interview, man. We appreciate it.
No sweat.
Just want to start out talking, about your history in music. I read that originally you were singing backup for Tyrese. Can you just talk about, what you learned from him and how you came up with him?
Basically, I was in a group in New Orleans, in high school and stuff. It was called Upscale, okay? And we did a lot of shows, throughout the city, just singing everywhere. Possibly sing. We after a gig, we were driving down Canal Street and we ran into the Singer Theater where Brian McKnight featuring Tyrese was performing.
Yeah.
We just decided, let's take a chance. We jumped out the cars. We stood on the side of the building where the backstage entrance was from outside and just started singing, hoping someone notices us. Frank Gatson, who managed Tyrese at the time, was sitting in the limousine, and he got out of his car and came up to us, introduced himself. We sung to him. He brought us in to the concert. We sung for Tyrese. We traded information, and we stayed in touch throughout high school. And when we graduated, he asked us what we wanted to do. We told him exactly what we wanted to do. We moved to LA. The next day, we started singing background for Tyrese.
Wow, that's cool.
That's basically how it happened.
Cool. I noticed you go by the moniker Luke James, but your real name is Luke Boyd. What's the reason behind that?
Well, James is my middle name.
Okay.
I'm named after my uncle, my late uncle.
Yeah.
His name was Jimmy.
Okay.
So, Luke James Boyd. So I just went with Luke James. I felt that it rings. It rings. It feels like Michael Jackson, James Dean, James Brown, Rick James. And it just felt like it was powerful. It's two biblical names.
Yeah. Cool. Now take us back to when you originally signed with the Underdogs, as part of Luke and Q. How did that whole situation come about?
Well, basically, through singing background for Tyrese, we were allowed to meet a lot of people. A lot of people that influenced us musically. Stevie Wonder, 112, and different groups and different acts, Tank, and so on. Through Tyrese, of course, the album around the time when we met him, when we started singing background for him, was the album, I believe, I Want to Go There, which was produced entirely by the Underdogs.
Yeah.
And so with singing background for Tyrese, of course, we got a chance to meet the Underdogs. They would come to shows and come to rehearsals and whatnot. And it was just me and my brother at the time singing background. My other brother here went home. It was three of us originally, but then it became just two.
Yeah.
And I think the Underdogs was trying to get a label deal. And of course, with a label deal, of course, they produced all these beautiful records for J Records or BMG for the American Idol cast and whatnot. They were trying to get a label deal. They needed an artist. They asked us. I believe Clive posed, told them to give me. He said he has a Jodeci. He wants his Casey and JoJo. He presented that to them. They said they have the right guys. They were thinking of us. They asked us one day. They gave us a day. They gave us that night to think about it. That afternoon, they called us. And said, "Can we Beverly Hills Hilton Bungalow, Clive Bungalow?" The next day, we met with Clive. We didn't have a demo or nothing. We just went in there. We didn't have no super fancy outfits or nothing. Me and Q just went in there. We had a conversation with Clive. The Underdogs were there. Frank Gatson, our other manager, Greg Parks, and Larry Jackson was there at the time, and he just posed the question to us, asking us, why should he sign us? Why, what makes us different? What makes us unique? And we could have given him the generic answer, but instead, we know what it takes. We just stood up and we said, how about we just show you? And we sung. We sung for him. We did 2 songs. We sung individually, and it felt like we were in the mafia or something. Like my boys. And that was that.
Yeah.
That's how it happened.
Oh, wow. That's cool. And, I know as part of Luke and Q, in that whole situation, you released, a couple singles over the years, but eventually, things didn't work out. You didn't really get a chance to release an album. Why do you feel like the whole situation didn't work out?
Well, it goes with saying, like, people have to believe in you. And, we didn't really have, we were always fighting. And we didn't have a lot on our side, and people who were on our side can only do so much as, do what they can, without losing their job or whatnot. Yeah. And it didn't pan out. And I feel like it was meant to happen that way. It made us stronger as individuals, to go through that kind of disappointment, that kind of letdown, with, two dudes from New Orleans, trying to make it, and this is our opportunity, and we had a shot, we got to tour, we got to meet so many people, perform for so many people, and, it fell through. Mm-hmm. Looking at it now, it was, I can, tip my hat to it and say, it was meant to happen, I don't regret it, and this and that, but then I was super depressed about it, it was just really, really not good.
Yeah.
But I took it up to just people believing in us and what we had to offer and whatnot. We wound up going on a tour, thanks to our management, and Kara Lewis at William Morris. They put us on a tour opening up for LL Cool J, and we had a chance to just tour the country with them, opening up for him and making people believers. People really didn't know who we were. People heard the single, knew the single. Our single was like top 5, top 10s around the country on urban radio. Mm-hmm. People didn't know what we looked like.
Yeah.
They assumed just because, we were soulful voices, they thought we were older dudes, but didn't know we were like 20, 19 years old. Singing, real just grown music, Mm-hmm. And I think that played a big part in it, because this is a very visual world. My generation is very visual. We need to see everything. We need to feel like we discovered you. All that kind of stuff. And I feel like the label itself didn't really work in our benefit.
Okay.
Doing that, so I think that's why it fell through.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. And after things. No, it's all good. I like to hear the history, so it's cool. And after things didn't work out with that situation with Luke and Q, I know you did a lot of writing for artists like Chris Brown, Britney Spears, Justin Bieber. How did you get those opportunities? How did you get put into those situations to write for them?
Well, when you have really nothing to do, and you're signed to a production team who basically was the face of R&B at the time, mm-hmm. the Underdogs, and you just had the opportunity of meeting some, different writers like Tank and like Little Steve and like Eric Dawkins and Damon Thomas and Harvey Mason, Tony Dixon. We just being around there, you'd be a fool not to try to learn. It's like having an opportunity to sit, just to live with Babyface and pick his brain and just be able to sit there and watch him create a song. Mm-hmm. And I've been writing songs since I was young. That's probably why I didn't do so well in school. But I have been trying to write songs, and I just took it upon myself to really nurture that. The guys up there at the Underdogs, they were really big on learning the fundamentals of writing and how important writing is. It's like real estate, and mm-hmm. being an artist is one thing, but writing songs, songs you can publish them for 100 years.
Yep.
It's like real estate. It's investing, I guess.
Yep.
Music thing with your skill, and so therefore I had no choice but to try to learn how to write real songs.
Yeah.
And my first song I ever wrote was, and that got placed, was Change Me by Ruben Studdard.
Okay.
So I got an opportunity to do that, and as soon as I got the bug, I just never stopped.
Yeah.
You know?
And as you started to have more success with the writing and get all these placements, was there ever a time you considered just being a writer and not even trying to be an artist yourself anymore?
Never.
Never?
Never.
So you
never.
always kept...
I never will.
Yeah.
It will never boil down to that point. You know, it's weird. I try to say that I'm a realist, but I'm not. And I feel like that's the thing that makes me who I am.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to keep the belief, to keep going, to keep trying to show the world what I have. I always looked at writing songs as just another door for me to get in to be an artist.
Yeah.
Within writing songs, I developed my craft. I developed my sound. I'm still developing my sound.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've learned a lot about music and just how to write songs and how I like to write songs and how to express myself.
Yeah.
Me personally.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, no, I never thought. I never said, "Oh no, writing that I'm gonna go to writing if it doesn't work."
Okay.
I'm gonna write to stay afloat.
Yeah.
But artist is what I am. A performer.
That makes sense. Okay. And can you give me some, background on the creation of the song you wrote for Chris Brown, "Crawl"? How did that one come together?
Man, that song right there. I met these guys, Nazari and Adam. They go by their production group name is The Messengers. They're from Canada. I met those guys. I was working with Tank with Jamie Foxx, and they were in the same studio facility working with Brian McKnight. We got acquainted, and they played some music, and I just thought their music was so moving. We didn't have contact, or we didn't trade numbers or nothing like that, but I just remember hearing their music and hearing the lyrics and just the musicality of things, how they did things. I was working with JoJo, and I referred, I'm saying it right, I recommended that JoJo's team reach out to Nazari and Adam, the Messengers, because I believe they have something that she would love.
Yeah.
He wound up getting my number from JoJo's camp. He called, and the Messengers, they called me thanking me, and they just wanted to work. So we decided to work the next week, our first time working together, and we came up with "Crawl."
Yeah. Wow. Cool.
Yeah, that's basically, we looked at, it was also the Chris Brown situation.
Mm-hmm.
So we just came up with that song.
Cool.
That was our first production together, and they've written a bunch of other things with me on my project.
Okay, all right.
I want you.